think of the new leadership, Jasmine, AOC, and Bernie?
I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And our plan for dealing
you didn't
with her,
plan that out. We got to hurry.
Our plan for dealing with her is called Operation Let Her Speak.
Which brings me to my big idea. Natively right now, the Democrats are trying to figure out who's going to lead the party / be their presidential nominee in 28. Just for fun, let's go through a partial list of who we think is going to run for the nomination.
Ooh, I love these games. This
Yes.
is so fun. Okay.
So let's just go back and forth. Gavin Newsom, definitely running.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know, though. He adds the whole coastal elite thing. Again,
That's not going to keep him from running, Tara.
no,
let's get real.
absolutely he's going to run. But yeah, he's got the coastal elite thing. The baggage of the fires, I mean, to me, that's just bad governance and feels like a Katrina moment for someone in the sense that, like, there was no water to put out the biggest fire in history.
Shoot, it was Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson talking about how California is now like the anti-advertisement for Democratic rule.
Yeah.
Not wrong, but I think you'd agree that Gavin's running and is just going to trust that he's going to, overcome.
I think good governance, though, is going to be on the ballot after years of chaos.
I mean, Gavin's got some weaknesses. Don't get me wrong.
Let's talk about some of the lies that the Democrats are showing, right? The Democrats are saying that we're going to cut Social Security benefits. Do you know we can't do that through reconciliation? But they don't say that. They also say we're going to raise taxes on billionaires, or not raise taxes, but cut taxes
This is a
on
Fox
billionaires.
News alert. You mean Democrats lie?
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, when they call
Especially
when they
Chuck
call all
Schumer.
of you Nazis and fascists and
right.
Hitler and Mussolini, and
But the American people starting to believe it because they say it so much. When you cannot cut Social Security in reconciliation. At the same time, they're saying we're going to cut taxes for billionaires and millionaires and President Trump's friends, when all we're doing is extending the current tax code. The current tax policy that we have right now, we're simply extending it. And so the Democrats, they can't run on any of their policies, but they're running on lies.
I think progressives can't come to the fact or the reality that secretly they're not the party for the people. They never were the party for the people. They merely use people as pawns to gain power, to justify their power. And once they get it, they do everything in their power to maintain, and ends up destroying the people that they claim that they have their best interests at heart. I always talk about how socialism is slavery. It is. Anything with a centralized system is essentially effectively slavery. You just want whatever the place that the central power is hold, that's the house. That's the big house. And everyone else works in your behalf. You want redistribution of wealth because you believe you're going to be the one that's managing the redistribution of wealth. And this is the kind of the system that a lot of progressives are pining for, right? But secretly, they don't want to be the ones paying 60, 70% of the taxes. They want to be the ones managing the institutions that gets to direct where the money gets to flow. And once you understand the game of socialism, you start understanding, oh, these people, this is a Ponzi scheme. And every progressive have shown, and you saw from the intro, Andrew Yang talked about how right now the Democrats are trying to find themselves. You also see the GOP senators kind of poking fun at the Democratic Party, exposing the Democratic Party for how they lie and how they deceive people, right? They keep talking about how they have good governance, but if you look at California, no good governance. If you look at Illinois, you look at the school system, you look at the crime rates, the results keep coming in. The metrics keep coming in that, hey, these blue states are not a good city to live in. And you wonder why they're losing population. Why people are moving out of Chicago, Illinois, right? Why they're moving out of California, right? And they're moving to red states because people are voting with their feet. And no matter how much BS Democrats, their voters, their supporters keep trying to push it to you and how much better governance they are to Republicans, there's a reason why people are migrating from blue states to red states. That's where the opportunity is. And people feel like they can't live in these blue states. And this is a problem that Democrats don't want to come to grips with because it exposed that maybe they were wrong all along. And that's kind of a hard thing for the Democratic ego to accept. But here's another example of how Democrats do things that's kind of counterproductive to their end goals. For instance, racism, right? I talked a lot in nauseum on my channel about how wokeism is racism, how DEI is racism under new management. And this whole picking cotton thing, has exposed how really racist the left can be, right? Because the undertone is, oh, Mexicans, illegals, they pick those things. And this is where I go with, hey, socialism is slavery. Democrats, you can't run away from your roots. You're the party of slavery and you still think they're slaves. You just think, oh, illegals, they need to pick our cotton. You guys ain't gonna sit here and pick our cotton. This is the argument that the progressive left is putting out here. And this video, I'm gonna show you how progressives say one thing but do another.
She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
When the wheels fall off.
You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Getting to be the face of that party.
I know, thanks to your show.
Yeah.
I don't know which more popular, this or The View.
It is kind of funny the way she considers illegal immigrants just to be. I mean, it's a few iterations from slavery.
Yeah, they've literally, liberals have become, for the most, as obsessed with race as the left is. They seem to not know what racism is because they do it all the time. That was like the most racist thing I've ever heard. She's going, well, no, Mexicans are going to pick the cotton because we ain't doing it. You're like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And it's just, they constantly do these things. Oh, black people don't have IDs. Or the people don't have IDs, or they don't know where to vote, and that's why the black vote is down. It's like they just constantly make racist remarks that are setting their own people back super, far, and I don't know how they don't get that. How do they not see that what they're doing? Wokeism is racism. And it's terrible. It's very confusing.
And before I go into the main event, the main clip that I want to show, I kind of want to sneak this in as well about how the Republican Party have won over the blue-collar working class people. And Democrats and progressives, especially the progressives, they scream and cry about how, oh, the working class is being duped by Donald Trump. I'm like, how? The working class, right? Like, for instance, Bernie Sanders in 2019 agreed with the current approach that Donald Trump is taking. We don't want free trade. We want fair trade. Donald Trump said we can't have free trade unless we have fair trade as a basis point. I can't be fair trade and you can be anti fair trade. I'm taking all your products, China, and you're taking none of my products. That's not free trade. That's me getting taken advantage of. You don't think working class people are going to still agree with that? But because progressive hates Trump so much and they pretend, oh my God, everything's so chaotic, people want good governance. Well, no Democrat running has a good track record. The Democrat with the highest probability of winning the Democratic nomination is Kamala Harris still. And Kamala Harris is from what state, people? California. A state that overwhelmingly voted Democrat for decades, filled with bad governance, filled with politicians that are not used to talking to people in the middle or right of them. California is a glorified echo chamber for Democrat politicians. You think they're a good candidate for a national election? Yeah, okay. Especially with all the baggage that Kamala Harris comes with. But she's still the front runner. Gavin Newsom's the other option. He has a lot of baggage. Oh, Democrats got good governance. And every time you look for that good governance, you're like, where? I can't find it. The best Democratic state is usually like a Pennsylvania, a swing state kind of Democrat. Like they barely won that state. Those are the best Democrat states because they know they can't act like Gavin Newsom out here and still expect to win. This is the reality of progressivism. They have all these ideals. They have all these dreams, but they got no actual plan to execute on those dreams. They don't understand the reality or the sacrifice it will take to get those dreams. But I digress. Enough with me ranting. Here's AOC getting exposed for her limousine lifestyle. She talked about fighting the rich, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about it because I want to set up context before I go into this. Holy hypocrisy. AOC, who despises the rich, is flying first class to rant about oligarchy on the taxpayer's dime. a passenger dropped the best one-liner on this: fighting the system with one first-class mimosa at a time. And this is the problem with progressives, that they don't want to understand or grapple with the negative perception of them by Americans such as myself, is that you despise the rich not because they cheated somebody, they stole from people, whatever. You despise the rich because you're envious of the rich. You believe you should be rich, right? And you're using taxpayer money to enrich yourself. This is the hustle of the progressive. The progressive is nothing more than a schemer, a Ponzi scheme. That's it. You're mad at someone making money on legitimate, like people, hey, I made a good service. I created Amazon, right? I had a vision for this. I had a game plan for that. I had the blueprint. And I just needed help. I just needed people help me with that blueprint. Because I can make the argument, if the workers didn't exist today, would Amazon still exist? Yes, because you could always find another worker. If Jeff Bezos didn't exist, you think you would have Amazon the way it is currently? No, you wouldn't. And that disproportional impact on the creation of a company justifies why Jeff Bezos deserves to make billions of dollars compared to his workers. Because the workers are just people who are a part of his grand vision. He's the man with the plan. He's the one who set the direction. He's the one who gives your skills value. It's a two-way street. You trading. And this is the funny part I don't understand with socialists. Labor in of itself is a transaction. Hey, I give you my labor, you give me money. Okay, it's a negotiation process. You don't like the terms, you can always walk away. But for some reason, socialists think that people cannot manage free will. But I digress. I know I've been ranting a lot, but these are the kind of things that irk me about progressives. But I digress. Let's see AOC get called out for her hypocrisy.
Conservatives are laying into progressive Congresswoman from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The question here, is it fair that they're going after her over this? Take a look. She was caught on camera traveling first class on a JetBlue flight last month. She was on her way to Las Vegas to speak at a Fight Oligarchy event with Senator Bernie Sanders, events in which she has been railing against the wealthy elite.
We are witnessing an oligarchy in America. When those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good to enrich themselves.
But I see progressives, this accusation is a confession by progressives. They come into government, manage government, destroy the quality of life of people under their governance to enrich themselves and their crony friends. Look at Brandon Johnson. He's the perfect, he has, like, to a T. That is the process of how progressives, when they get into office, this is exactly what happened. You go into Chicago, failing schools. We need to put the Chicago in. We need to put Chicago in debt to fund all these government benefits that we want to give. Okay, we have to raise property taxes on Chicagoans. We have to do this on Chicagoans. And all that money, some of it is going to go to the teachers unions, where I happen to come from, by the way. Isn't that a scheme to enrich yourselves and your friends at the expense of the Chicagoan people? Progressives don't see it that way. They think it only operates in corporate America. Are you stupid? Corruption operates in any endeavor involving human beings. But for some reason, progressives have this dumb idea that people in government aren't corrupt. That the same level of skepticism they have for corporations, they shouldn't have for government. That's what doesn't make sense to me. But you know, I digress.
Certain ugly kind of politics that at its core is about lying to and screwing over working and middle-class Americans.
Isn't that what the Democrats are doing? Screwing over working class Americans by allowing illegals into the country that compete for their jobs? You don't see that as screwing over the working class? Progressives, y'all gonna have to reconcile with this. Y'all want to talk about the richest and wealthiest stealing and scheming from the American people, but who do they support? Let's ask that question. Who do they support? It ain't the Republican Party. If you look at big tech don't support the Republican Party like that. You can name me two people, Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. That's from the tech bro sector of the economy. Everyone else support Democrats. 9 out of the 10 wealthiest counties in the United States of America vote Democrat. Hedge fund managers, right? Wall Street, right? Who does Wall Street support? The Democratic Party. Who bailed out Wall Street? The Democratic Party. But hey, you're fighting against the rich. What a load of crap.
Other passengers told the New York Post this. Nothing says power to the people like ignoring voters looking to say hello and reclining in first class while tweeting about income inequality. And AOC is fighting the system one first class mimosa at a time. What's your reaction? Is this fair ground?
I think it's absolutely hilarious. Look, basically, good for anyone who wants to make it in America. That's the American dream. Everyone should have the opportunity to climb the ladder of opportunity and enjoy first class. But there's a big difference. You work for it and you earn it. She's paid by the taxpayer. She's not earning it in the way that the American dream is.
Remember, Remember, I kept telling you how progressives, socialism is slavery. That's what they thought. You work hard. You pay. This is why progressives love government. You work hard like a slave. Your money, your labor. They take a portion of that labor, your time, your effort that you put in, the stress that you put in to make 100% of the money. The government takes a cut of that. Then from that cut, they pay these progressives to sit in first class and pretending they're working. Make it make sense. And then when you ask LC, how effective you were as a politician, no one can give me an answer. She's very popular. She makes a lot of slogans and statements, and she's very influential, but no objective outcomes making the people she represents better. But a portion of their taxes are used and funneled to fund this little lifestyle that she's living. But what she's giving back in return? See, this is the difference between capitalism and socialism. Capitalism makes it very apparent that the relationship has to be reciprocal, because there's freedom. You can leave. It's at work. It's at will employment. If you feel like the terms of the job doesn't benefit you any longer, you leave. Socialists, they don't know. You're forced to stay. You have to give me your money. You have to continue giving me the service because it's supposed to be free health care. You're supposed to be my slave, doctor. I don't care if you spend your 20 years learning how to be a doctor and you're getting paid the same wage as a janitor, because we determined that you only need to live according to your needs, not your wants. What motivates someone to go down the path of doctor? Why not just be a janitor? You're getting paid the same anyway. And this is where socialism run into a wall. Because at the end of the day, they don't want to contend with the fact that people have self-interest. They pretend that people can operate without self-interest. And to some degree, we all operate with some level of self-interest. And you cannot totally eliminate that, because progressives think they can change human nature, when wisdom will tell you can't change human nature. You have to contend with human nature. And this is something that I think conservatives, from a philosophical perspective, understand. This is why they create laws where they try to make sure people can't take advantage of it. Hey, you need voter ID. You need proof that you can vote in this country. Why? Because people who are not supposed to vote will vote if you don't have barriers to validate and check them. Conservatives operate on the fact of, I trust you, but verify. That's conservatism. Trust, but verify. I trust you can vote, but I want to verify that you actually can vote. Democrats, they just let anybody vote because they benefit from a system like that. That's what I'm saying. Schemers and hustlers. That's what progressives are. Progressives can't make it out in the real world, so they go to the next best thing, go to politics, and finesse that way. I don't trust a progressive as far as I can throw them. All this BS about they care about the working class people, I don't believe none of that. I see them as using them as a pawn, especially with climate change. How dare you use children, hide behind children to push a nonsensical argument about climate change? And then you want to call me a climate change denier? You don't have no proof. You don't have proof climate change is as drastic as you claim it be. Creating all this mass hysteria over what? Over 0.2% increase in temperature. Okay. I digress.
Is all about. And by the way, let's look at how Democrats are turning this into legislation. Right here in California, unbelievably, there's a bill to remove that Clear channel from airport security, where you can pay to join Clear and skip the line, as it were. They don't like that because it's unfair. So they're trying to take that away. Meanwhile, the champion of the left is enjoying these perks at the taxpayer's expense. It is absolutely unbelievable.
Progressives always claim that we're fighting for you. We're fighting for the people, right? Then Donald Trump comes in. He's doing stuff that, the people kind of benefit from. And where are the Democrats opposing him, obstructing him? They claim they got better governance. Oh, we govern better than Republicans. But then you look at every objective metric, they fall flat. Craziness. 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 Well, I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Do you agree with my kind of synopsis, my kind of framing of progressives? Do you believe progressives have a good thing at heart? It's just they're just misguided about how to reach it? I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.